Hello, friends, and welcome to Adventures in Pixie Island. My name's Amy. I'm an ordained minister. We're in Bible study. We are in the NIV, and we will be through the end of 2025. We are in Leviticus chapter 17, and we are going to be doing all of chapter 17, which really isn't very long. It's only about like 15 or so verses or so it looks. So, remember, this is the beginning, not the very beginning, because it kind of starts in Exodus, but part way in to what we know as the Mosaic Law. It's not the entirety of it. So, let's jump in. Eating blood forbidden. That's right. No rare or medium rare or any of that, cooked meat. The Lord said to Moses, "Speak to Aaron and his sons and to all the Israelites and say to them, this is what the Lord has commanded. Any Israelite who sacrifices an ox," the Hebrew word for this can include both male and female, a lamb, a goat in the camp or outside of it, instead of bringing it to the entrance to the tent of meeting to present it as an offering to the Lord in front of the tabernacle to the Lord, that man shall be considered guilty of bloodshed. He has shed blood and must be cut off from his people. So no sacrificing your own animals. This is so the Israelites will bring to the Lord the sacrifices they are now making in the open fields. Okay. They must bring them to the priest, that is, to the Lord, at the entrance to the tent of meeting, and sacrifice them as fellowship offerings. Traditionally peace offerings. The priest is to sprinkle the blood against the altar of the Lord at the entrance to the tent of meeting and burn the fat as an aroma pleasing to the Lord. They must no longer offer any of their sacrifices to the goat idols. There we go. That's why. Or demons. That's what they have here as a footnote for the goat idols. Or demons. I like to refer to them as demons myself, but then I'm a minister. To whom they prostitute themselves. It's like, no gods. There is no other God. There is the living God, and then there's things that want to make you believe that they're God. And those are two separate things. And the difference, and how you can know, is the living God does not need you to sacrifice, like as in, like this is an atonement, but he doesn't actually need you to do this for him to give you something. This is something he's requiring because it's supposed to make you stop and think before you sin. If you're not doing a lot of sinning, then you don't have really anything to bring. There's no reason for you have to bring some. Now, not sinning is really hard, and I don't really know any humans that can. Just that one guy, that one time that we call the Messiah, and everybody else has failed at it terribly, myself included. It's just welcome to the human condition. It's just all of us to varying degrees. Our sins don't always look like the same thing. He's a jealous God. As far as he's concerned, the rest of those aren't God. He doesn't need us to make anything. He made the entire universe. He is still making universes. Right now, literally, because we exist, space is still exploding out there, making new whole solar systems. He doesn't need us. We need him. This is to be a lasting ordinance for them and for the generations to come. Say to them, any Israelite or alien living among them who offers a burnt offering or a sacrifice and does not bring it to the entrance of the tent of meeting to sacrifice it to the Lord, that man must be cut off from his people. Because this is not really about genetics making the population. It's about the worship of the same God. making the population. And if you want to be like, I don't think so, he chose David. He chose David from that line of Judah, whose grandmother, because Jesse's mom, was Ruth, who was a Moabite. It's that because when she got married to her Israelite husband, or in this case, because it's a tribe of Judah, Jewish husband, converted completely. And you can see that in her actions afterwards, and how the next partner she goes to choose is also from that same faith. She's worshiping the same God. So it's about the worship of the same God, and not necessarily about anything else. He's telling them not to take, because, so in our European, because I have Jewish DNA in me. My oldest DNA actually comes from the Middle East. That's where the Neolithic stuff is. It's in the Middle East. The Celtic and all that, long, and the gene pool can trace it way long ago too. So, okay. Not as far back. In our very European mindset, of course the children take on the religion of the father. It's the father's household. Of course they would. No, not in these cultures. You're only Jewish if your mama's Jewish. Because your mama is going to be who was raising you. Your dad could have gone off to a war and died. It could have been gone and not come back. There could have been any number of things that happened. Your mom was who you spent most of your early years with. That is your foundation of your faith, and that is where the worship goes. In fact, usually in these households, they're finding that the Jewish men stop worshiping the living God if their wife worships demons, even Solomon. Okay? So, and he was considered very wise. And all he did was get wives that were outside of the Jewish faith. He had almost no Jewish wives whatsoever. He chose for himself princesses of other cultures. So, and that's why there ended up being so many problems in the generations that come after, because it's not really about the genetics. Now, let's see, verse 8. Say to them, any Israelite or alien living among them who offers burnt offering or sacrifice and does not bring it to the entrance of the tent of meeting is to sacrifice it to the Lord. That man must be cut off from his people, because he's no longer their people. Any Israelite or alien living among them who eats any blood, I will set my face against that person who eats blood and will cut him off from his people. For the life of the creature is in the blood, and I have given it to you to make atonement for yourselves on the altar. It is the blood that makes atonement for one's life. Therefore, I say to any Israelites, none of you may eat blood, nor may any alien living among you eat blood. Any Israelite or any alien among you who hunts any animal or bird that may be eaten must drain out the blood and cover it with earth, because the life of every creature is in its blood. This is why, or is its blood. This is why I have said to the Israelites, you must not eat the blood of any creature, because the life of the creature is in its blood. Anyone who eats it must be cut off. So, besides bloodborne pathogens and all other kinds of, unpleasantness that goes on there, there is people who, not just people, but animals. We see it in dogs and other animals. Once they get that taste for blood, they get more aggressive. It happens to us too. But in this time frame, would be very much so more dangerous, because they don't have any of the things that we have to make sure that we're cooking our food properly. to make sure that we're killing any bloodborne pathogens. So you'd have to imagine there would be quite a bit of that. I mean, I eat all my meat, well or medium well, depending upon what it is. Anyone, whether native born or alien, who eats anything found dead or torn by a wild animal must wash his clothes and bathe with water, and he will be ceremonially unclean till evening. I mean, who knows what was in that? Then he will be clean. But if he does not wash his clothes and bathe himself, he will be held responsible. Ooh, responsible. So, until the next video, friends.